the tactics comes the play.
What's he going to do? Oh!
After the play comes the goal.
Could be the match winner from Lionel Messi. Ronaldo! Aguero, they'll do it. It's a terrific goal.
After the goal comes the uproar. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
All right, a great afternoon once again to come talk about sporting stories. Yes, we knew the game that went on there at the Alliance Arena yesterday. That's the game between Portugal and Germany. Well, their first victory in 25 years. And well, of course, you talk about the man who scored the last time. Portugal defeated Germany. Conceição's father scored a hat-trick in that encounter. But yesterday, Conceição also scored the equalizing goal for Portugal before Cristiano Ronaldo put the icing on the cake to ensure that Portugal are into the finals of this year's UEFA Nations League. Yes, who are they going to play in the finals? They await the winner between Spain and France later today. But then you talk about Portugal, Spain and France. These three sides, they've been winners of the UEFA Nations League. For Portugal, they won the maiden edition in the year 2019, France in the year 2021, and then for Spain in the year 2023. Who is going to win in the year 2025? Well, that's the question that lingers on in the mind of many. Well, whichever way, there will be a two-time champion of the UEFA Nations League. Outside of the UEFA Nations League, we'll discuss about our transfer stories on the show this morning. Yesterday, Chelsea confirmed the signing of Liam Delap just ahead of that their Club World Cup of encounter that's later this month. But then a lot of people also question what's next for Nicholas Jackson. Well, I don't know what's next for him, but for the likes of Christopher Nkunku, what is going to happen to his future with the Chelsea Football Club? And then there is a new number for Cole Palmer, jersey number 10. Well, of course, that's the new number for the Englishman. And then we come home to talk about the Nigerian sporting stories. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, still the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Before we go straight to France and talk about the Roland Garros, that's the French Open. Well, of course, there is a game going on presently, and that's between that's Arina Sabalenka and Well, it has been a fairy tale encounter for her there at this year's Roland Garros. Well, defeating those who are way above that ranking. We'll talk about a quarterfinal and also round of 16 encounter. But she would be up against American 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐒 later today. So we expect that what is going to go on in this game. Is it going to be another encounter for us? She aimed to get into the finals. Or for 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐒, she would also still hold her with. That's talking about how good she is. Talking about the American. And then we talk about a bit of basketball stories. It is all about the African Basketball League, where the River Supers, the Kingsmen, they are aiming to win. This one gets one better than they did in the year 2024. But on the show this afternoon, I'll be joined by Peter. He is seated at my left hand. Of course, you know that is how it always looks like. He's seated at my left hand, and we'll discuss about all of this on today's edition of the show. Good afternoon, Peter.
Thank you for having me. At a point in time when you said morning, I have to check my time to be sure that...
Did I say morning?
You said morning. So check my time to be sure, myself and Dolakbo, to be sure that we're in the right place at the right time. I was going to hit Dolakbo to tell him I win the US. Or Australia is ninth because I watched the game between Australia and Japan when the Australians scored a late winner to beat the Samurai by 1-0. So just to mention that, Saudi Arabia will have to win their game today. If they don't, then you have the Socceroos and the Blue Samurai rather on their way to the World Cup. So it was a big win earlier today for the Aussies, beating Japan by 1-0. So like you did mention, so much happening and so much for me to bring from this side. Like you did mention, the second Grand Slam of the year is going on. And if you're not watching the game between Sabalenka and Swiatek, I don't know what you're doing. These guys have been fantastic on court, especially for the pole. Talking about Swiatek, she lost the opening set 7-6 on tie, but how she managed to get that game into a tie was quite impressive. She was down 3-love against the Belarusian, and then she pulled back to level, and then has to go. You take your sets, or you take your points by holding serve and all of that. As we speak right now, game is in second set and it's one game apiece. And guess what? The Pole won the first game, breaking the Belarusian. And when you thought that Swiatek will hold on serve to go 2-love, that didn't happen. Sabalenka, world number 1, break the Pole to level, game at 1 apiece. So as we speak right now, in terms of the set, Sabalenka lead by a set, and in the second set is 1 apiece in the game as we head into the third game of the second set. So it's all to play for. And of course, you mentioned the second semi-final game coming up later today, the American Coco Gauff. And let me also mention that this is the first time in over 30 years, I think, that we'll have more than 30 U.S. tennis players in the U.S. So you have them, they have the highest numbers, both in the mix, doubles, in the doubles, and in the singles. You have more Americans playing this year's French Open. But today, one lady stands out in the women's end of it. She'll be playing against home girl Louise Bossin. And a lady, the French lady, ranked over 300 as we speak in the WTA rankings, will be looking for a big win today. And some mistrust the French guys. They'll come out in their numbers. Why? Because they saw what Paris Saint-Germain did in the UEFA Champions League. And as we speak right now, they are all behind this woman or this lady to win tonight, knowing fully well that the men also will be playing the next few hours against Spain. So it's all going down. Transfer world also, there's so many deals almost done. Manchester City will be having medicals for 2 players this weekend. Tijani Renders and 𝐻𝐻 will be joining them for a combined fee of about close to 100 million. So City are doing business. They said they want to get their jobs, their business done before the Club World Cup. They don't want to go to the Club World Cup and come back and start signing players. So they want to have all their signings in for the Club World Cup and then see how many they will push out after the World Cup. So it's looking ends in terms of what is happening in the French Open, like I mentioned, and of course in the world of transfer. And tonight, there will be one more game to look out for to see who will be playing in the final on Sunday in the UEFA Conference League. Last night, it was Portugal beating Germany. The first time the Germans were lost under Nagelsmann at the Allianz Arena. They lost by 2-1. I remember the last time, you mentioned it, the last time the Portuguese won against the German was way back. Conceição, who went on loan to Juventus Football Club. You mentioned how his dad got a hat-trick in that game. So his dad will be super excited to see his son come on from the bench to equalize yesterday. And the man who's 40, Ronaldo, make it 2-1. And somebody said to me, it was just a tapping. Does it matter? People miss tapping. But hey, it's Ronaldo. He hardly missed tapping.
Well, as a Nigerian, I would actually want us to go back to 2010.
Don't go there. 𝐂𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐿𝐒𝐿𝐒 Yacoub the ball. Don't go there.
Okay.
I get it.
Just as we'll talk about or where you stopped, that we just start straight from that. So that's the UEFA Nations League game that went on yesterday. A lot of people have also discussed about the selection for the selection shoots of Portugal. For Martinez, they said that he wasted the golden generation of Belgium. And now he is with Portugal, where you expect them since the last one, the Nations League. Yes, I know that they were with their former manager till the end of the World Cup, and also that was the Nations. No,
the one that won the championship with them.
Yes, he won the European Championship, and he won at the Nations League with them.
Fernando Santos.
Yeah. So we look at it now. Is he getting it right with his selection with Portugal Football Club?
No.
Did I say football club? Hey, Jesus
I get
Christ.
it.
National
I get
team.
it. I get it.
National team.
His job, I remember I mentioned it yesterday here on the show that his job is more like on the line. Jesus, if you remember him, the man in charge of Benfica for a long time, before he moved over to Al-Hilal in the Saudi Pro League, he has no job. There's been talk around him in the Portuguese media that it might be they want to take charge of Portugal in the coming weeks. But yesterday, Roberto Martinez, Fabio Carvalho, who's assistant, they knew that game last night against the Germans, I don't think anything was bad in that selection yesterday. If it had gone south, we'll probably be talking about that selection. Rested, what's his name? Vitinha, which you should understand. After playing many games for Paris Saint-Germain this season, Joao Neves played out of position, but we saw
back.
Yeah, but we saw what that meant. It wasn't that he was playing right back. Each time the Portuguese attack, there's a way he joins the midfielders, and you see Ruben Diaz and Ignatius and who was that? Nuno Mendes. They go into a 3-line back line, and if they have to go the route of the left-hand side, you see how Mendes also will join the attack. And you can see that happen yesterday because the winning goal was the Paris Saint-Germain man, who for me has been the best left full back so far in the world as we speak. He launched forward, get that square ball into the box for Ronaldo to score. So for me, it worked out perfectly well for him. And when it was time for him to do the sub also for me was spot on. Trincao, the former Wolves player now with El Ali in the Saudi Pro League, Neves, were out. And a game last night, you never saw Rafael Leao. So for me, I think it was spot on. Everything worked out right. I think the question I would have expected would have been Nagelsmann not getting his own right for me, because I saw a Serge Gnabry who came on the game yesterday, no impact. And at the point in time, I was trying to view to see, am I sure this is Serge Gnabry? It looks like he has added pounds, he has added weight. It looks clueless when he came on board yesterday. The man from West Ham who played for Dortmund, a couple of Fulcrum also came on. He also looked a bit clueless. The only player last night for me, for the German, has to be Joshua Kimmich. The others, I don't think they were in the party. Jonathan Tah, who's moving from Leverkusen, has already moved to Bayern Munich.
Okay, can we also talk about the selection starting Marc-André ter Stegen in goal yesterday?
You saw how.
I know he had some saves.
Yeah.
But this was a man who was unable to be at it with FC Barcelona.
He was out
for
injured.
over 50 games.
You cut him some slack. He was out injured because
this was the same mistake Germany made 2014.
Don't forget.
Or 2018
don't also
at the World Cup.
Don't also forget that he has been waiting for this. When they crashed out
in that last game against that's Japan.
You don't forget also that he has been waiting for this for 12 years, for this to happen, and so he had the. Okay, who would it have called to be in goal last night? Ben Leno, who, of course, he didn't get the call-up. Who else again?
But there were guys who did this job before Marc-André ter Stegen and got back from injury.
Okay, tell me, any of the goals last night that you think the Barca goalkeeper would have kept out?
See, I'm not faulting.
Is it the beauty of the Cosenza?
I'm not
is it the tapping from Ronaldo?
See, I'm not faulting.
But you mentioned the save, the double save he made last night.
The double saves, but it is also part of, okay, what about those who have been there? Won't it be a thing of, our efforts are not appreciated enough?
No.
This is a man coming back
from
injury.
Let me just take you back. Let me just take you back a year ago when Thibaut Courtois was out injured for Real Madrid and they have to make do of Angel Lunin for a long time, and then the final came and Thibaut Courtois was fit. He was fit 10 days to the final. Carlo Ancelotti said, we'll go with the Belgian. Simple as that. Heaven did not fall. So now that the second is back, to Nagelsmann, it felt, it's good to see him back. And he played a couple of games in La Liga, even though he wasn't registered for Champions League. He played a couple of games for Barca in La Liga when he came back. And so it was, I think for me, that was fair and that was good enough for him to start. Just because they lost last night. What if they had won the game? We'll not be yet talking about that. That's what you get.
Okay. Narratives definitely changes. But then, Red Hot Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, I don't know how he's red hot, but he got the winning goal for Portugal to put them in the finals of the UEFA Nations League. Remember, they won the maiden edition in the year 2019. But then there's another big game set to go down tonight.
Yeah.
At the home of Stuttgart, the MPH Arena. That's next dawn.
Yeah.
Well, Spain against France. Both sides are faced off. That's in the the European Championship last year. They faced off, and Lamine Yamal, I remember that he got a goal in that encounter. And then you talk about these two sides. Lamine Yamal has been speaking a lot.
Yeah.
If we are to decide the Ballon d'Or with this, let's have it.
No.
That's what he typically said.
That's an agenda.
But then we look at this game set to go down tonight. Attacking talents by both sides or from both sides.
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal, Mikel Oyarzabal, Ferran Torres. Mention Nico Williams. Lots of players there.
That's from the Spanish side.
Spanish side.
Okay.
From France, the UEFA Champions League winner, Ousmane Dembele. The La Liga top scorer, Kylian Mbappe. Wales, Thuram. You have him also there.
Yeah.
And then you talk about Doué. He's one of those players. Bakola, one of those players. And then you say, where is the battle going to be won or lost later today?
Battle won or lost. Maybe not on the pitch, but just be on the bench. We saw last night how those three players that came on for the Portuguese changed the dimension of the game. So I might not be looking at the players who will start tonight, even though team news is not out yet. It might just be those players that will pop from the bench and do the magic. Bakola, Doué, Dembele, with these three players start, or you probably want to start Kylian Mbappe, Marcus Thuram, who maybe hopefully his head is good enough to start game like this after being part of the team that lost to PSG in the final by 5-0. So all of these will be playing out in the head of Didier Deschamps. How does this set up against the Spanish side that we know one thing is certain today, they will come with the balls. So that means what I meant by that is that they will have the possession. They will dictate the course of the game. Is how the French will want to press them. And talking about this game, like I said, about two managers that might decide the course of the game from the bench, both are winners. Didier Deschamps is a World Cup winner as a player, as a coach, won the European Championship also as a player in 2000 when Belgium and Holland co-hosted. De La Fuente, as we speak right now, he's won the European Championship. He's won the under 21 Championship as head coach of Spain under 20. And now he's got these young boys to put on parade today. So if it doesn't work with the 22 starting the game today, I'll wait to see what these two managers will do in terms of how they tweak, how they want to make those adjustments, and see maybe that winner. But for me, I think that winner will not be part of those starting the game today. It might just be those players coming from the bench. They've had a long season, so most of them will need some time to rest. And maybe coming from the bench will just make a difference. So for me, not starting, I'll probably look at the players who will be on the bench to probably change the course of the game if is tie at the point in time.
All right, that's the thoughts of Peter. Definitely looking forward to the game, but wants a bit of magic from the bench later today. But quickly, let's talk about a bit of transfer stories on the show this lovely afternoon. Well, Chelsea, you confirmed that yesterday, this morning rather, that they completed the signing of Liam Delap from that Ipswich.
Yeah. And
then he's getting ready to play in the Club World Cup. How good of a recruitment is this for the Blues?
Chelsea wants him to go to the Club World Cup. The England under-20 coach wants him to go to the European Championship with them in the summer. Chelsea wants him, and so they have him. He's going to get the number 9 jersey for Chelsea.
But number 9 jersey is not doesn't have anything.
No, it has nothing. Maybe. And for Cole Palmer, I will get the number 10 jersey. Jadon Sancho is going back to Manchester. Chelsea could not afford his wages, and so they have to pay £5 million to Manchester United rather, and then Sancho will go back to the city of Manchester. Definitely, I expect to see what will happen in the coming days. Christian Nkunku, his future now is up because when you have Liam Delap joined them.
Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah.
João Felix also is not going to be there.
also coming back from AC Milan. So I think some of these players will be booted out by Chelsea Football Club. So it brings to mind what the plan is all about now for Enzo Maresca. There's Champions League football. There's the league. They want to probably finish and qualify again next time. The squad is quite big. And I'm just waiting to see how Chelsea will go. Maybe sign a few more players, allow a few more go. They like to sign the young ones who they give 7-8 year contracts. And I'm just thinking this morning, Sammy, you can take my word down. If it all works out well for Liam Delap, Sammy, I see him as the next Harry Kane. He has the same body, and their style of play looks so similar. So if Chelsea gets it right with him, patient with him, build him, I see another Harry Redknapp in that boy. Don't forget his father was the man who used to throw the long balls for Stoke City back then. He's Delap now, so that's his son, in case you don't know. So I think Chelsea have got one for the future. And there's someone that can really push Nicholas Jackson, who at times you just wonder if he's a striker based on his quality. Chances that you expect him to very easily, it's difficult for him. The difficult one, he converts.
All right, so still talking about transfer stories for Manchester City. The data has been confirmed that when these two players, we have their medicals, Tijani Reinders and Ryan Aït-Nouri. They will have their medicals with Manchester City. And I think I asked Blessing yesterday that this recruitment by Manchester City, I think it is going to shake the Premier League next season.
What is it going to shake?
What's it going to shake? You look at the quality. No, it's about quality now. They are signing.
It's about. I'm not trying to go against what they are doing. Tijani Reinders is coming from
AC Milan's best player, one of the best in the Italian Serie A this season.
You see, AC Milan has done some crazy things. I saw a few stats yesterday. Sandro Tonelli, they signed. Didn't spend up to 2 years. They signed him for about 7 million euros. They sold him for about 65 million euros to Newcastle. Tijani Reinders was bought from the Dutch league, signed for about 14 million. Played 2-3 years, just signed a new deal. They're selling him for about 60 or 40, between 55, thereabouts. Big money. He just signed a new deal and then he's moving. But this is what I'm saying. He's coming from a new league entirely. He's coming from the Italian league. He's coming to the English Premier League. He might hit the ground running. It can be another plug and play, and it can take time for him to get into the rhythm of the Premier League. The other man, the Algerian, Aït-Nouri, is coming from a side who are not used to winning, from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
He's proving to be one of their best players in years.
Yeah, I'm not arguing about that. And Pep has talked about how they're still finding it from that report we got earlier in the week to get a suitable replacement for Mendy. And so they thought that the Algerian is the best fit after signing. After, of course, they have Nathan Ake, they have the Croatian, and then O'Reilly, who played there a couple of games last season. So now they felt with a little bit less than 40 million euros, they will be able to get the man from Molineux, which they did. So all of this signing hasn't proved anything. There's always a talk about the other French boy coming from Olympique Lyon. Deal almost agreed. So I don't know, maybe all of this will help them. Players are coming from a new culture into the league. Will they hit the ground running? I have my doubts about that. Yes, it's Pep Guardiola, they say. He has a way of finding his rhythm, he has a way of finding his way, but I don't think all of this signing means anything for next season. Don't forget, Liverpool are still trying to put the money together to sign Florian Wirtz, who was good last night for the German. Yes, so maybe for Ķeķes it's almost like that will come a little bit easier. But for the former German champion, they're requesting for 123 million British pounds. That's what they want from Liverpool. If not, you want to have a player like this, is one in a lifetime. So you want to cash on him big time now. So we wait to see, maybe Liverpool will go back to the table and have that discussion. For now, the boy says he wants to play for Liverpool. Liverpool will have to pay the money. But like you said the other time, I'm still waiting to see that major signing. Liverpool, not for me. Maybe
not. As you still crossing your fingers to awaiting that's the major signing by Manchester City. Now you look at all the top sides in England. Liverpool, they've done 2 or more signings this season.
Yeah,
I know most of the sides have been involved in the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Manchester City. Who else? Manchester United.
For Club World Cup, you just sit at Chelsea from England.
Just City and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Then you see Liverpool still making signings.
Yeah, Liverpool will make signing. They never made any last summer.
Then you see Manchester United.
Signing Matheus Cunha.
Then you see a side who finished second in 3 consecutive seasons.
Okay.
Yet to make a statement.
Okay,
signing.
so let me make a case a little bit for them. Those two last transfers, by now, Arsenal were wrapping up transfers. They were wrapping up deals. Declan Rice, 𝐃𝐈𝐒, just take you back a little bit. They signed those players before they went on their preseason. So now they have a new project. There have to be discussion. So let's give them some time. It's still a long window.
Peter said it's a long window.
It's a long window. Yeah, I know you want to talk about what happened, which I also put a blame on Arteta.
You should identify your targets as early as possible, and then you know that, okay, we didn't get it January. Once the transfer window opens, we are doing it. The transfer window, good enough, it's going to open twice this winter. This summer, rather.
Samis, you know, as I also do, that the major worry is to get a striker, right? Just hold on. Just let them do the proper profiling and see what suits them. Not just sign anybody for signing's sake.
But Peter, what happens? Let's wait till the end of August. What if Arsenal doesn't get any striker? What should we do?
Why wouldn't they? They will. It might not be your taste. It might not be what you want. It might not be what the fans want. But they'll surely get one. They know. Pep. So I think I've said it so many times. The club know that they need to sign one, but it's all about profiling.
Okay. Now let's leave it as that. All about profiling. But let's go back to the Roland Garros and talk about the games. The game going on. Well, trying to fight our way back against Aryna Sabalenka. They are in the second set at this point. 4-3 it is.
Iga is serving at the moment is 30-15.
But yesterday, just to talk about the 41 rally, this man had.
It was
yesterday.
crazy. Zverev and Novak, and what came out of it?
50th semi-final. I think this man is, just as he's hoping to win his 25th major Grand Slam.
And guess who is waiting for him?
Sinner.
We'll wait to see what happened on Friday.
Well, let's see what will happen tomorrow. But this should be how far we can go on today's edition of the show right here on 32 FM 94.9. We'll come your way tomorrow. Again, that's us covered at 15 by 7:45. And also in the afternoon by 3:30. Well, I am Sam, your sports captain. I've done this alongside Peter. Do enjoy the rest of the day and bye for now.